Welcome to the Cherry Picker, the horror movie podcast where we like to kill people, but not really. I'm your host, Zach Cherry, and with me as always is.
Tim McKay from Tim McKay Beauty.
And today we are celebrating our 200th
Woo!
episode of the podcast. Pretty crazy that it's been that many episodes.
Yeah. And you've
It's
actually done like even more than that because you had the old podcast.
Yeah, there's been like there's been like the Cherry Picker After Dark when I
Mm-hmm.
used to do that with Edward. So it technically it's not the 200th, but for all intents and purposes it's like the 200th episode proper.
Yes. Official.
And we decided to celebrate this momentous occasion by recovering one of the greats, one of Tim's favorite
It's
movies.
my literal favorite movie.
Your favorite movie, like even more favorite than Scream.
Yeah. Because
Okay.
I saw it before Scream and it really is what made me fall in love with horror.
And that movie, as you probably know because you've clicked on this, is I Know What You Did Last Summer, released October 17th, 1997. I did cover this with Edward way back when, probably like when we started the podcast, but
Mm-hmm.
it's been a while since we talked about it. And I'm interested to hear the perspective of someone who really loves this movie because I know that Edward, isn't too hot on it, and I'm kind of, we'll get into it,
I
but
remember, I remember listening to the episode. I was so depressed because I remember
I'm
both of you not
sorry.
really caring. I was like, I was devastated, and I was just like, oh my God, I love this movie, and I'm so excited that I get to be here today and stand up for it in ways,
Yeah.
stick up for it a little bit.
Well, I'm happy to have you here to do that. So, we've got the chat going, everyone's here. Amethyst is telling
Yay.
me that this is actually the 313th episode when you incorporate all of the Cherry Picker After Darks and Patreon commentaries from well
Wow,
before. So yeah, if
wow.
if you consider those canon, I don't, but
In the
but
Cherryverse.
yeah, the Cherryverse, yeah, absolutely. You had some questions. I don't know if you wanted to get to them now, but because you messaged me earlier today and you're like,
Oh
what?
yeah.
I have a whole list of questions. I don't know if it was a
So
whole
I'll
list.
just tell
Yeah.
everyone that I spent the entire day in I Know You Did Last Summer World. And by that I mean I wanted to watch the movie this morning, and I was like, oh, you know what? I really want to watch the audio commentary. And I was like, so I looked all over my apartment for my DVDs. I don't know what happened to them. I don't know where if I gave them away. Didn't have it. So then I went all over Manhattan today. I went to about like six or seven different stores looking for like
Oh.
anywhere that said they sold DVDs. And like a lot of them were like used bins of just like bins of DVDs, and I would go through all of them. In Union Square today, there was a guy, like, because there was a bunch of different little tables, like some had vegetables and some had like little trinkets and treasures, and he had a bunch of DVDs. And I was like, "Do you have I Know You Did Last Summer in here?" And he said no. And I was like, "That's a little too quick. Like, how do you know you don't have it in here?" I was like, "Are you sure?" And I was about to start going through, but no, so I couldn't find it anywhere. And yeah, but I did that all day long today, different stores all around Manhattan looking for it, and um, ended up just watching it regular on TV. So
Hmm.
that's fine. But I
Yeah.
spent my whole
Where's
day, and I'm
it?
so excited for it.
Where's it streaming?
It's you have to rent it now. It used to be on, I think it was HBO Max or Netflix. I don't remember which one had it, but now you just have to rent it
Yeah.
to see it, or maybe
Wow.
Tubi. I'm not sure if it's on any of the free ones,
Hmm.
but yeah. You have
Yeah.
it on DVD, I know, right?
I've got it.
4K.
Well, I DVD. It's so
I
funny when you say DVD because I get so snobby. It's just like who buys DVDs anymore?
But
But you know what?
isn't it still a DVD technically? Or is it, what do you call it, a 4K disc?
I mean, maybe like a technical, like it is like DVD technology, but it it's essentially just like the resolution. So you were saying that you ordered it, right? On
I
4K.
did. I did, and I
Yeah.
ordered it today, knowing it won't come in until tomorrow. But now I'm just doing it out of principle, and maybe it will be the start of my physical media
Yeah.
rebuild because I need to get on that before they start deleting movies that I paid for.
Yeah, I mean, like that's a huge concern moving forward with everything, like games too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's why I just like I think like I've got like hundreds of movies behind me here you can't see on this video image, but I've been collecting movies since probably like the early 2000s, maybe like even the late 90s.
I love that you'll
And
buy movies and not even watch them right away. You're like, I've had this for 8 years and I actually just watched it."
it's true. Well, like the Skeleton Key, where we covered a few weeks ago, like I didn't just open it then, but I had it for like maybe 15 years.
Wow,
And I opened it because it was a review nomination for Patreon.
that's right.
And they're just like, why did I wait so long to open this? But yeah, there's a few things. I think I've like mostly watched everything, but I will do that. Like I'll go to the store, and I used to like back in the day, like I would go every week and I would just drop $100 on
Hmm.
several DVDs, and over time just like get around to watching them. But mostly like I feel that it like if I really like the movie, if it's something that I watch all the time, or it's one of my favorites, I'll upgrade it. So as soon as I get like the Blu-ray or the 4K, I'll do away with the DVD. Like I've got like
Mm.
boxes of like DVDs that I need to give away
Yeah.
or sell. So I I'm pretty sure that I've owned I Know What You Did Last Summer at least like three times because I
Yeah.
probably had it on DVD and then I upgraded to
Same.
the Blu-ray and then I got the 4K that came out recently. I got the 4K for the sequel.
Mm.
I have the third one on DVD. I don't think that they did put it on Blu-ray, I think. But I don't need to get that on Blu-ray. And then the
No.
new one, I think I just got it on Blu-ray because it's just like I don't need this on 4K. But
Oh, the fan fiction one that came out last year?
yeah. Yes.
The fan fucking
Yeah.
fiction?
The
Oh.
we can get into that. We can talk about the whole franchise.
Um, yeah, of
There's so much
course.
to
But
discuss.
I just remembered why I brought all that up of what my whole day was because then I also wrote a whole list of like questions of like just different topics and questions because I love this movie so much and I was like going through it and I was like I wonder what Zach would think. I almost like wish that you were sitting with me watching it so I could ask you questions like along the entire thing, but
Mm,
that's what my list is for now.
just
So
like me being Waldorf and Statler and
yeah, and I
just
just want to know
criticizing
your
the
opinion
movie.
of so many different things. But like for example, my main question, this one I was really excited to ask you, is
Yeah.
because Kevin Williamson, as we know, wrote both I Know You Did Last Summer and he also wrote Scream. And he wrote I Know You Did Last Summer first, but it wasn't picked up. And then after the success of Scream, they went with I Know You Did Last Summer as well, greenlit it. Awesome. So my question to you is how different do you think this movie would be, and maybe what ways do you think that this movie would be a little different or very different, maybe if Wes Craven directed it? Maybe he directed Scream first and then directed this, or maybe he didn't
Yeah.
do Scream. If he was the director of this movie instead of Jim Gillespie, what changes do you think would be prevalent? Or I don't know if
It's
prevalent's
a
the word.
loaded question. It's what's
Yeah.
interesting is that I actually watched there's like a 30-minute featurette on the 4K of Jim Gillespie talking about the whole experience
With
of
his thick
everything.
accent. Love it.
Yeah, very Scottish. At a
Hmm.
certain point, and maybe I just misunderstood what he said, but it sounded like he said that he tried to go for Scream 2, like to direct Scream 2. And they said, well, like you just don't have enough experience. So he was turned down for it. So
Hmm.
I'm assuming like it I had to rewind him. Like, did he say Scream 2? Because that made me think like, was there a time where Wes Craven wasn't gonna come back and direct Scream 2? Like they had,
Ah.
like greenlit it and they decided, okay, we're gonna move ahead with the sequel right away, but they weren't like 100% on like Wes Craven, or Wes Craven wasn't 100% on coming back yet. Um, so I just thought that that was like a very interesting parallel, like just with your question there. I think that if Wes Craven had I Know What You Did Last Summer, I think that there would be a lot of rewrites. I
Yeah.
think that Wes is of was, let's say is, because he's his memory lives on. Wes is a very detail oriented filmmaker.
Hmm.
And I think that he's also, I mean, not that like every single one of his movies is 100% logical. I think that he's always someone who is mindful of things making sense or just like stuff happening that's like not gonna like take you out of the movie or like get you to just like start questioning things. Um, I also think that his understanding of like the way that suspense works and just like his intention towards like what goes into a movie and like what shots to use and like the editing process as well. I think that he has a much better understanding of that. So I think that, for instance, like with the Helen Shivers chase scene,
Best
there's
part.
which I think is like a phenomenal chase scene. It's probably like one of the best chase
It is
scenes
the
of
best chase scene in the world.
I don't agree.
Okay, but I
And
agree with myself that it is the
that's
best.
that's 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 totally fine. I think that if Wes had directed this movie, I think
Hmm.
that the chasing would have been a lot better.
Even better.
There are editing choices throughout the chasing which I feel don't really add anything to it. It actually like takes us away because it's just like we keep cutting back to Julie and she's like running home and she's like on her like gigantic ancient laptop like researching and it's just and then she's like running to the town hall and like everyone is left but it's like we keep intercutting with like everything that's going on with Helen and it's just like if this was like a Wes Craven directed chase scene
Hmm.
we wouldn't be doing that. We would be holding the tension of the scene. We wouldn't want to like go away from
Mm.
everything and like check in like meanwhile, this is what's happening with Julie. I think that, he would have the mindfulness to know like no, let's keep it on Sarah. Let's keep it with her. I also think that Wes would, and this would be part of like whatever, like the rewrite, and I'm not saying like a full rewrite or anything, but just like making like cleaning up little things here or there because why the Helen scene like ultimately doesn't reach the top echelon of chase scenes for me is because she gets to the end of the alley and she stops for whatever like the fireworks and all that like start going off and then like suddenly like everyone floods in like this like empty town is now like everyone
Well, you
shows
hear
up.
she hears the ding of that metal thing, of that like that I love you keychain, which if you listen really closely, you'll hear
Yeah.
ding. But like the killer didn't do that. That was
But the
just like
thing
added in post,
no
obviously.
no 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 no, totally, but it's just like Helen would continue like she wouldn't stop. She would run out into the crowd of
Yeah.
people and just be like, someone is coming after me. So it feels like in that moment, it's just like we're forcing like we've had the character like almost make it, but then she decides like I'm gonna be stupid now and I'm going to stop. And that's different than like say like in Scream where like Casey Becker is like running out of the house. She runs by the boyfriend's body. She sort of stops for a second to look into it and she's just like, I have to keep going. Parents come up. She sort of stops for a second to just like, oh, like mom and dad. She keeps going and that's where he like jumps out at her. But it feels like those are motivated by more so like the shock of it all. It's just like, or the adrenaline or something like that. Whereas like this with Helen Shivers, just stopping, that feels it's like the script is, like the writer has forced her to stop just so they can accommodate a kill scene, which wouldn't have happened otherwise. And I find that there's a lot of instances in this movie where things happen because characters are being stupid or things are like illogical. And if Wes Craven had directed this, I think that he probably would have, gone in and made sure that like any sort of like instance where things like that like needed a little bit more cause and effect, he would have implemented that. And that's not to say that like Jim Gillespie did a bad job. I think that he did a great job with this movie, but I think that at the same time, maybe his approach was more so like I'm gonna take this material and I'm gonna like make the best version of that, like how I can interpret that onto the screen. And I think that Wesco like he went a little deeper. He made sure that like okay, no, if something needs to be adjusted here, I'm going to do that. And I think that that's like the same reason why I feel like the later Scream movies uh aren't as good in my opinion because I don't think that Radio Silence or like Kevin Williamson as a director
Mm.
did like had like the same thoroughness that Wes would have if he was
Yeah.
directing those scripts.
I could see that. I also think that it would be a lot bloodier if Wes directed it. I think that's one thing that Jim said in an interview was that he actually didn't want to use like any blood filming this movie. Like he really wanted the whole thing to be like pretty much blood free.
Mm.
And I know that like I think the studio made him like add blood to Elsa's death, like when Elsa gets her throat slashed
Yeah.
at the department store. So I think that that's pretty really interesting, and I actually love the way that Jim has Helen die. I don't love that she stops. That is the one thing that in the whole chasing that I think is the dumbest thing because she does do so good up until then. I love that it goes from a car to a store to the alleyways. And by then, you really love her. And I do like that she dies. I actually do like that she dies, and I like the way that she dies. I just wish there was a better way of getting her to stop. I think exactly like you're saying. If there was a better way of her not just like out of the blue, huh? Let me turn around, for no reason. Like I think
Yeah.
if they could have just solved that one little thing, it would be perfect to me because I always get a little frustrated there, but I love the way that the killer is throwing her back and forth between the tires and that you're not seeing the hook hit her. It's giving like not a music video, but it's giving like a quick artistic flash that you're seeing a little glimpses of blood in the flashing lights. And I just
Hmm.
think that it's so artistically done and so beautiful. And I think maybe at the age that I saw this movie at 13, like it was just the perfect amount of horror for me
Yeah.
to fall in love with it and not be too scared by it. And it stuck with me my entire life, and I still love it
Hmm.
so much now.
I just want to read some of the comments in the chat here. So Amethyst was saying the fisherman also literally teleports in front of Helen after she stops and looks back. And
Yeah.
it's if they're going to do that, I think that like what would have been more appropriate is to like kind of motivate her stopping is if he was just there, like, she was running towards the end of the alley and then he just stepped out from the tires. And then
Yeah.
that would have, it wouldn't have made a whole lot of sense, but it would have made more sense than, if they're gonna have him teleport anyway, he may as well be the thing that causes her to like not reach the very end.
Or
So
yeah, or even if they wanted to get really like dicey with it, like have him swing his hook out and like trip her or gruesomely like hook her
Trip
on the way
just grab
through.
her heel with his hook.
Yeah, like Julie at the end of the second movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, so no, so I just think that and there are other things in this movie too. Like I actually have a list of things in this movie somewhere that just don't make any sense.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I know it's not perfect.
No, well, no,
Like and we can get to those things too.
yeah.
But
Well,
yeah, I just
Grant is also saying, just while we're still on the topic of this,
yeah.
maybe Wes would change up the killer's identity, motivation, situation a bit, would make it all a bit less petty on the killer's part.
Hmm.
Uh, oh, there's so much I want to like psychologically delve into with Ben Willis.
I love Ben Willis. Ben Willis reminds me like he dresses just like my dad. It's so weird. Like my dad dresses just like Ben Willis. That denim shirt that he wears, like
Mm,
my dad has like a whole closet full of those. And like the light blue jeans, boots. Like my dad
yeah,
is Ben Willis. Maybe that's why I love this movie so much. Just
maybe.
reminds me of my dad.
Yeah. Should we do a little housekeeping before we move on?
Yeah.
Because it sounds like we got a lot to say here. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming in today and celebrating our 200th episode with us. If you are new to the show, or if you've been here for a long time and you're enjoying what you're seeing slash listening to, you can give back a little bit more. It'd be very much appreciated if you went over to patreon.com/Zach Cherry. And if you're supporting the podcast, you get extra little benefits. Like you can join us every Monday night when we live stream all of these episodes, and you can be part of the conversation as we have here today with Amethyst and Grant. And I also saw Craig and Sarah Campbell and Mr. K
Kyle.
Churns, Kyle. Yes, Kyle. Uh, just want to make sure I got everyone. But yeah, it's a great fun little time, and I've yet to see anyone like really push back hard, which is probably for the best. We don't want to like get into a huge debate, but I always welcome like the pushback of anything because like we're not always right. We're just right to ourselves. So it's fun to have people come in and challenge our opinions because sometimes we're just gonna like yammer on about how much we love or hate a movie, and if no one's gonna stop us, then it's just gonna be up to the people in the comments telling us like, you're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about,
Yeah.
you know?
Though I could see it being a little scary if two people are hating on a movie to be like, I love
Yeah.
that. But sometimes you just got to. Like, that's me
Yeah.
for I Knew You Did Last Summer. I will defend it till death.
It's yeah, it's a good time. And remember when Edward and I covered Halloween Resurrection, because that's just like two people coming together and hating on a movie so hard. And I know that there
Mm.
are supporters of that movie out there, even
Are
within
there?
my Patreon community. So yeah, so yeah, that's one thing you can do. You can join us. You can also nominate and vote upon the last movie or topic that we cover at the end of every month, which I accidentally forgot to put the poll up. So it's a little bit late. So we don't know what next week is going to be just yet, but we will have it. And that is going to be a decision that is made by the Patreon supporters. So you can still like head over and vote to at least find out like what we're going to do next week. That'll be entirely your decision. So there's that. There's also credits at the end of all of the podcast episodes and my YouTube videos. There is early access to YouTube videos. I just put something up today, which released later this week, but that's like several days that you'll have early access to. Monthly reviews, monthly video chats if you're a Ghostface supporter. And I think that's everything except for one, right?
Yeah.
Shout outs.
Shout
The
outs.
shout outs.
There you
So
go.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would like to thank a few wonderful people. So starting with the Michael Myers tier, thank you to Kyle Beard, Sam Levy, Ellie Hamoosh, Shaggy87, Tim McKay,
Woo.
Stephanie Starbright, Horror Slut 95, Austin Hall, Cara Day, Michael Boswell, Michelle Hughes, Austin Morris, and then thank you very much to the Ghostface tier, Eric Champney, Daniel Saturn, Garrison Nichols, Craig Lynn, and Josh Burrow. So, with all that said, do you have a premise for this movie that I
I
feel like we've
do.
already premised?
Julie, Ray, Helen, and Barry have their whole lives ahead of them as they celebrate the 4th of July with their small town. The night turns deadly, however, when they accidentally run a man over on their way home and decide to dump his body into the sea. Instead of risking their futures, oh my God, I can't read tonight. Instead of risking their futures, the teens decide to take the secret to their grave. And exactly 1 year later, they find themselves hunted by a hook-yielding fisherman who's looking for revenge. And it all begins when they receive a single note that reads, "I know what you did last summer!" Exclamation point. Because it did include the exclamation point
The exclamation point on
on the
the
note. I love that like Ben
yeah
Willis wrote "I know you did last summer" and then he included an exclamation point. Like he was like,
exclamation.
"Oh, like I really
He
know what
should
you
have
did."
put like three and underlined
Or yeah, or even
what
two and then just put like
I
a sad face. Yeah, or even
yeah.
like two and then yeah, like angry
Or
face.
like an eggplant emoji, depending on like what he's
Sure.
feeling,
Um,
just something whimsical.
Now when you saw this movie for the first time, did you think that it was the guy that was sitting on the rocks in the beginning that they hit? Did you think that it was actually David Egan that they hit with the car?
Um, no, I mean I don't even remember what I thought the
I
first time
know.
of I saw this. Um,
Basically
the
20 years
the
ago.
the thing with this movie, and I feel like I probably never really asked this question because I don't feel that the movie really asks this question. It's not really a whodunit. And it's like there's clearly like they're tr making attempts with red herrings, like Max, who is like taken out like very early. It's just like, oh,
Yes.
a possible suspect. Nope, he was killed. Um, Elsa is another one, just like for like,
Hmm.
her like conspicuously leering at them in the department
Eavesdropping.
store. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was never,
Missy.
yeah, like if anything, like Missy was probably like would have been like the prime candidate, but I don't think that I was ever watching it with the mindset of like one of these people is the killer. I actually feel that there's like the fisherman has a lot more in common with slashers like Jason Voorhees, or it's just like
Yeah.
it's like the silent killer who's like walking around. And actually, I say Jason Voorhees, but he actually has a lot more in common with Pamela Voorhees because there are similarities between the two, like this and the original Friday the 13th. They both involve a parent who is like, their child is dead, and this is like somehow like kind of like with Mrs. Voorhees, it's more revenge based. With Ben Willis, he's just petty, like it was already been mentioned. But it's also like a character that we're never introduced to. Like they just like they show up at the end and then it's just like, oh hi, like I'm here to help you. And then like 2 seconds later, like actually I'm the killer. So it's
Mm,
more like similar to that template because I never really watched Friday the 13th and think like one of these people is the killer. It's just sort of like
yeah.
there's a killer and they're going to like pop up at a certain point.
Yeah. I think it really was Scream that kind of like ignited that whole like let's make everything a whodunit. Like let's make everything like that be the kind of focus point of the movie. And I feel like
Yeah.
maybe if I Know You Did Last Summer had come out first, it wouldn't even have been as much of a thing. Like, maybe there wouldn't have been all these red herrings as much. Maybe it would have been a little bit more streamlined of just like because that's what I like that Jim said. Like Jim Gillespie said that he didn't really read the script as a slasher. He just read it as a story. It was just a really good
Yeah.
story. And I think that once Scream was so popular and it was like such a fun thing that everyone loves to guess who the killer is, it's kind of like every movie started going down that route for a little while.
Hmm.
And um and yeah, this movie is really not about that. It's not like even they tried making Ray a red herring. And it's like, why would Ray be the one of like
Well,
well,
I feel like they were onto
I
something.
know I just put my own foot in my mouth. I'm like, oh,
Yeah. The
well.
I mean there was a lot. I mean we just covered a movie last week that was kind of a whodunit. Like there's a lot of misdirection and sort of like, possible threads of just like could it be this, or like is it this person who's just like lost their mind, or is
Mhm.
blacking out. So, I think that like the idea of like a whodunit was always like prevalent before, but I think that Scream certainly elevated it to a level where it was just like it became trendy. And especially
Yeah.
after like a long time of like, like because like the early to mid 90s horror was, like going off into a much different direction. And it wasn't really doing like a lot of like whodunit murder mysteries. Because if we think of like the big four that are like from the 90s slash early 2000s for franchises. Even though one of them is not really a franchise, but I think of Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer, Urban Legend, and Valentine.
Mm.
And Urban Legend and Valentine are like more in line with the like who's doing this. Like it's just like this intentionally masked killer or like face obscured killer. Whereas, I think that with the fisherman, there's never really any doubt that it's like anything like but like a man or like an older man. Like we can see his face. And like obviously
Yeah.
like I'm talking about like watching it on like 4K most recently. I'm sure like in the theaters like back in 1997 it wasn't as clear. But
Hmm.
they dump the body. He's still alive and we get a clearer look at him when Barry is like swimming up and we can tell like it's an older man. And
However, I did watch
mm,
a reaction to it and I was like very happy that the people I was watching react to the movie could not tell. They were like, "That's the guy from the beginning," and I was like, "Ha ha 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 ha." That's why I
yeah.
love reactions sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if it was like you mentioned it, like Kevin Williamson wrote this script first before Scream was a thing. So maybe like there are elements to this that feel like it doesn't really feel like Scream at all. There's like some meta pop culture stuff, like mostly when they're talking about Silence of the Lambs and Murder She Wrote, which are just like feel like very like Kevin Williamson just like throwing it in
Mm.
there.
Yep.
But I think that like the secret sauce of this movie to me is the and I'm gonna say this because it was referenced in that interview. He called them the Core Four,
Did
and
he?
I believe so. Yeah, they were like the Core Four, and they really are. Like it's just like the casting of this movie is so good
Oh,
because the four of them are really like the heartbeat of this, and like it's just it that sort of begat like even though like Scream already kind of like set the standard for that, I just think that like the foursome of them like really came in, and there was like all this like connective tissue to the WB, which was like
hmm.
the network that had all the teen shows like Buffy and Charmed, and I don't know if Charmed was
Yeah.
out yet, but like like stuff like that, Seventh Heaven.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and I know Jennifer Love was on
Party of
Party of
Five, right?
Five with
Hmm.
Nev Campbell. So it was like everyone was like sort of related. So it was just sort of like
So
this
cool.
yeah, this big like melting pot of like teen actors that just sort of like would come in and out of all of these movies. And I think that the casting for this one in particular was just like they did a really good job.
I think Tara Reid auditioned for Helen and she didn't get it.
Interesting.
Yeah. She
Yeah.
was roommates with someone at the time. I forgot which actress. She was roommates with another actress that were coming up at the same time. And yeah, and I think she went and she auditioned for it. And then I think they also wanted Sarah Michelle Gellar for Urban Legend, and because she turned it down, Tara Reid got it. So Tara Reid's like the like
Yeah.
second hand, second rate. Well, maybe
I think
fourth,
like
fifth rate Sarah
also,
Michelle Gellar.
yeah, and Tara Reid is also in Cruel Intentions. We were talking about that before
Yeah.
we started, but
Hmm.
I believe Sarah was also, I don't like, I think they wanted her for the faculty, and obviously she didn't do it. So it's just like all of those movies, they're just, they it's like how it is nowadays, where everyone's just like, well, let's get that like Timothy Chalamet guy, and
Yeah,
like,
Jenna
like just like
Ortega.
the same people in everything over and
Yep.
over again. Like there
Especially
nobody
once they
else
find out that
exists.
you're open to horror too. Like, especially if
Yeah.
you're a female and they like, oh, a female that's open to doing horror movies, let's get her constantly.
Yeah.
And like you said, like you knew Buffy, you knew Sarah from Buffy before she
Yeah.
even did these movies, which is so cool. I didn't,
Mhm.
I did it backwards.
Well, it's so this came out in October of 97.
Hmm.
I saw Buffy from the beginning, so like I think that was March that it first
Hmm.
aired. So I was already familiar with the entire first season. It was just like half a season. And then season two would have already started because those like shows usually come back from their
In the
summer hiatus
fall.
in September.
Oh.
So I was already like watching season two of Buffy, and then it's just like, here's a movie that like Sarah Michelle Gellar is in, and like she made it like what like before like Buffy was even like a hit or people like knew about it, like she was already cast in it. And I mean Sarah Michelle Gellar was already like she had such a huge career in
She
All My
had an Emmy.
Children.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like she was well known. Ryan was really well known as well for like he played a gay character in one of like the soap operas, and that was like as for like playing like a teenage like a gay teenager was I think a big thing at the time. So he sort of like had broken ground. Jennifer Love Hewitt had been acting for like acting and singing for a while at that point.
Mm. I
So I think
forgot
like
she sings. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean like her who could forget
How do I do with
yeah,
you? How do I do with me?
exactly.
No, but oh, Kyle,
Um
yes, Kyle. Wasn't Tara Reid roommates with Daniel Harris? Yes, that's who it was.
yeah.
Daniel Harris spilled
But
all this tea.
yeah, Freddie Prinze Jr. was kind of like he was like the newbie. And this is really interesting because
Mm,
like from the video, like the interview that I watched, Jim Gillespie was saying that he really like had to fight to get Freddie Prinze Jr. cast because the studio didn't want him cast.
that doesn't
So
sound
he
right to me, though.
no, but that's the thing because like Freddie Prinze Jr. has like said he's like gone on record to say like
Yeah,
the director hated him. It was like a miserable time working with
he
Jim
hated working on
Gillespie.
that movie. Yeah,
Yeah. So someone's lying. I don't know
yeah.
who it is. But it's it's just interesting that there's like, oh, there's some tea that
I think he's not lying because um I
who's
noticed
not
it and
lying.
I think Freddie Prinze Jr. is not lying. I
Yeah.
think that maybe Jim is either trying to be nice or maybe he just genuinely doesn't remember like disliking
Yeah.
him. Maybe after Freddie like did such a good job that he thought whatever. But
Yeah.
Freddie does do a thing with his mouth. he like in the first movie especially. It's like
Yeah.
I forgot what he does, but he does do
It's sort
something
of like
over.
this like a like gape open like
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. He
yeah.
does something, and I think he's just so charming. But like, it's so funny that I guess it really pissed off the director.
I think that like the eh, that's just something that's like you see in a lot of like actors like their younger careers. Like Nev Campbell had those like tics that I know she's like very embarrassed about. Where like when she always used to like in
Oh,
Scream
oh
1 where
yeah.
she'd like put her hand on her neck
Oh, like
and
her neck issues.
she would do this thing sometimes where like she'd have this like kind of breathy gasp. I've talked about it on the podcast. You can hear it. I think a great example of it is in The Craft
Mm.
when Sarah is like doing the pencil trick on the desk and Bonnie Nev is like looking over and then Sarah notices her and she's like and it's like this pitchy breath thing and then she does it in Scream 2. There's places in the first Scream that she does it, but the one that's the most noticeable in Scream 2 is when she's sitting under that twisty tree with Derek and
Hmm.
he's like, this isn't about you not trusting me anymore. There's like this long dramatic pause and she opens her mouth. No, like I said, I'm just
I have to watch it immediately
watching.
now.
Yeah, yeah.
I have to hear
Which
this now.
I love those like little nuances, but I know that like she's like has talked about those and just like been like self-conscious. So I think that was just like a thing of like the beginning of Freddie Prinze Jr.'s career where it's just like, okay, like it's just
Mm.
one of those things that had to be reined in. There's also the fact that like maybe like neither of them is lying. And it's just the sense that like these it's like a job that, someone had 30 years ago at this point. You're not going to remember everything like vividly in terms of like you don't remember your coworkers from
Yeah.
years ago and maybe Jim's memory of those events is like a lot more positive than the way that Freddie Prinze
Yeah.
Jr. thinks about it and maybe like it's like two things can be true. It's like Jim might have like really fought for Freddie, but he also might have just been like really tough on him as a director and, thought that he was doing what he needed to do to get the shot or the performance or whatever. And Freddie, might have just been sensitive to that
If it's his first
and
movie.
yeah, and just sort of like went away from that. Like, they parted ways and have never spoken to each other anymore. So maybe like Jim wasn't aware of like the things that Freddie was saying or like what his experience was. So, I think
Yeah.
and there's so many instances like that. Like there two people can get together and someone like might really like and respect someone, but if their impression of them is different, like they're not going to buy that. Like you're just gonna like hate the person who's like making you miserable and not really try to understand any like nuance around that. So I think it's just maybe they just clashed a little bit.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
I remember Freddie saying that Jim really wanted someone else, actually. So like maybe Jim just doesn't remember properly. Maybe Jim remembers fighting for somebody.
Yeah.
He doesn't remember, and he thought he was fighting for Freddie
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, it could have been that, or maybe like Freddie is like hearing that like maybe Jim didn't say that to him, but it was like he heard it from someone else or something, because
Mm,
like rumors, you can't trust everything. But
yeah,
either way, like I believe that Freddie didn't have a good time.
yeah,
And I believe I don't know anything about Jim Gillespie, but I don't know why he would like get on an interview and lie unless he was like saving face because there was this rumor that Freddie Prinze Jr. like hated working with him or whatever. Like, who cares?
maybe. Yeah.
It's like the whole thing with like SMG and Love, like them apparently like not getting along, and it's just like based on what, you know?
I know I've created my whole like story in my head based on just like little things that people have like guessed and rumored, and I'm like I totally believe that like there was like a love triangle or something going on there. Um, but yeah, no, I just I love this movie so much. I love when it comes down to it, I love this movie for the location that it's in and the vibe that the location provides. Like
Mhm.
the fact that it's in this beachy town, it just makes it so different than a regular like suburban rural town. It makes it so different than a city. It makes it's a beachy town, and there's a certain kind of person that lives in a beachy town that works in a beachy town. You know, it's that like that hardworking fisherman village, and it's like the
Yeah.
where they're happy celebrating together with a croaker pageant, and it's like a small town thing. It's very family based. It's very like I love that. I just love this like I love this whole feeling of this community coming together and having their own parade. Um and the world that Kevin built, like making a Croker pageant, um, and making that
Mhm.
a yearly tradition. And that it's not a fancy town, it's not a rich town like they try to
Is
turn it into in the new movie.
is the Croker pageant not in the book?
It's not in the book. So in the
Mhm.
book, it's very different. It's Helen works at a TV station. So it's also kind of glamorous. She actually
Mhm.
has like comes from a very poor family and she works at a TV station and that's like what gets her like this little like boost of fame in her like town because like she's like so pretty but like she's kind of
Mhm.
poor but like, whatever now she's like on TV. And so in the book it's different because they hit a child. So like a kid is dead in the book and so someone is like sending them these notes and like these like letters and stuff like that and kind of like stalking them but you don't know who it is. So it's a little bit it's like less of a who done it and more of like a yeah, who's stalking me kind of thing. And it could be anyone because yeah, you don't even know if they're a character in the book or not.
Mhm.
Um but yeah, so but the book wasn't in a beachy town. That's completely all in the movie. So I wonder if that's like if that was in the script. Well, it must have been because it's Croker pageant and all that, whatever. I don't
Yeah.
know if that was a directorial choice, but
It's definitely like I think that there's a lot working for this movie because I do like this movie quite a bit. And like I do love the atmosphere that's created and just sort of like the vibe of everything you're saying, just like this fishing community, which I think was sorely lacking in the new one. And
yeah,
it's
100%.
crazy because like they had a scene that was cut. I mean, it's just such a disaster. But it was just like a beautiful shot where, and I'm talking about the new one, the the Stevie character, like she's like works for Ray and she like pulls up to like the dock or whatever where you see like where his pub is because it's just like on the docks and it's just like it's all foggy, it's all moody. It's like the only part of that whole movie that emulates anything that looks like the original, just in terms of like what this town is. And it's just
Hmm.
crazy that I mean, obviously they removed the scene because it's just like the whole story was whacked, but
Yeah.
it's like everything else in it, they tried to turn it into this like gentrified like affluent community, like all these like rich people that
Yeah.
live there, and they're like modern houses and
Like
stuff
a
like on the
Nantucket. Hmm.
yeah. And I think like maybe that was like the most that we see that's similar to that is Barry's house in the original. But the
Hmm.
way that they kind of describe it, like the group dynamic, is that they're I guess they're like rich. Like that's why like the three of them, like the two girls and Barry, are
Yeah.
part of a group, and then Ray is sort of like trying to acclimate into that, but he is like a poor fisherman,
Yeah.
and it's just like
Barry says
that's
it. He's like, you always want to be one of us. Oh, but
yeah.
yeah, you never
But
were.
then I mean I like just comparative to like the what we see for Barry's house versus Julie's house, for instance, where like
Mm.
clearly like her mother is widowed. It seems like they've fallen on I don't want to say like fallen on hard times or whatever, but it's just like there's like things that are planted there that just seem like, well, I don't think that Julie's mother or family is doing all that well. And then with like Helen, I mean, clearly they own this like department store in town,
Hmm.
so like they're well off with that, but like I don't think that
Not rich.
they're not presented in the same like tax bracket as Barry.
No.
And like
Yeah.
yeah, like the dad's just sitting there with his shitty TV watching sports.
Yeah, I like kind of like middle class, like a night like
Yeah.
a solid middle class, whereas like Barry's
Yeah.
more the upper middle class, like well upper class, and
Yeah.
um, I always see it as like like Barry was like the big football jock of the school. He falls in love with Helen because she was like the most popular girl in school. Her best friend was Julie, who is a little bit lower, not as rich as like I don't know, even like she's not rich, Helen, but I just see her
Hmm.
as like, but Julie, I don't know, but then Ray like lives on a boat with his dad or something. Like Ray like like has like a trailer that's like in the same lot as his boat so that he
Yeah.
can get to work. I don't know. I'm like, because I'm like, yeah, it's true. Julie's house wasn't that big or anything. So I'm like,
Yeah.
what was Ray's? Like a
I think
ranch? I
I
don't
think
know.
that's a thing that like just talking about like what would Wes Craven do? I think that there would be he'd figure out like okay, what are these characters' backstories? At least like not to give the actors, they can like create that themselves, but at least like make sure that things made sense. Because if you're gonna have this very specific detail in the script, of like Ray trying to be part of this group. Like, what is the thing about this group that defines them? Like, that was the thing that we were talking about last week with the happy birthday to me and this elite top 10 of the Crawford Academy. And it's just like,
Yeah.
what is it that is like makes these kids the top 10? Like, do they have money? Are they
Yeah.
friends? Like, clearly,
Are
like,
they
none, if it's
smart?
a,
Yeah.
yeah, no. Or do they apply themselves at work at their
Yeah.
homework? No. So, yeah, I think that like that would be one thing that like Wes would kind of like strip down and be like, okay, what is it like what is the group dynamic here? Where does Ray originally come from and like how did the three of them get together? Even if it's not prevalent or like mentioned specifically in the script, like just to like be able to create that vibe so it makes
Yeah.
sense.
Because
And
because the way that Barry talks to Ray, it seems like he doesn't even like Ray. Like it seems like he doesn't even like he's always kind of like talking crap to Ray.
yeah.
So to me, it felt like he really only cares about Helen, and then Helen cares about Julie, and Julie cares about Ray.
Yeah, definitely it feels like one of those like they're presented as a friend group, but it feels more like Helen and Julie are friends, and then it's just
Yeah,
like, okay, we're bringing
exactly.
the boyfriends, and it's not something they don't like usually get together and hang out. So this was like a oh yeah, like I can just see like Julie being like, oh yeah, I guess you're gonna bring Barry, right? Okay, and maybe vice versa. I don't know how Helen feels about Ray. I don't know how anyone feels about Ray in this movie. He's kind of, I mean.
He's so
Not to say that Freddie
wishy-washy.
Prinze Jr. is the weak link. I think it's just
Hmm.
like in terms of the script, like Ray is the weak link in terms of like he's always like the afterthought. It's like we're more
Mm.
focused, and I think like rightfully so because like they're just more interesting characters
Yeah.
on Julie, Helen, and Barry. But I think that it's interesting that Ray is technically the one who did the deed. Like he's the one that like hit Ben Willis with the car. And on the like the opposite end of that, Julie is the one who is like the most moralistic and
Hmm.
like wanting to, like let's go to the police, et cetera, and so forth. But then Ben seems to be taking it all out on Julie. Like she is like target number one. Like he harasses her the most.
Hmm.
And Ray is just like, like after everything else has happened to everyone, like, I got a letter.
Yeah, no, it's so true. Like, why wasn't he targeted like the most? Like, why wasn't
Yeah.
he run over by the car? Like why didn't Ben Willis run him over? That's so
Yeah.
true.
If like that would the punishment fit the crime sort of
But
thing.
I'm
So
wondering if do you think Ben Willis knew Ray's dad because they worked in the same boating area? No, that means
it would,
nothing. But
I
I'm just thinking,
mean,
I just thought of that just now. Like, wait, what if they knew each other? Imagine if
maybe,
Ray was
maybe
like, wait,
not.
Ben? Oh my God, I've known Ben my whole life. Works at the boating dock, the same one, the
It
literal
was
same one that my dad works at.
it was Ben. It was Ben this whole time.
Oh
I
my
just
God,
like
wait,
hear Courtney
Ben?
Cox like at the end of Scream 3. Roman? It was Roman?
Yeah.
Um yeah, I think that we definitely needed more to connect the dots with Ben Willis because I think that like, petty is a really good word to describe him as a killer because none of it makes any sense. It's like he's a he's a bad person. I actually feel that the sequel fills in some of the blanks. We'll get to that in a bit, but like he's a
Mm-hmm.
bad person. He did a bad thing. He murdered someone.
Yeah.
And he
Should we tell the
was
lore really quick for anyone that doesn't know? His daughter dying.
yeah, go for it.
Oh no, because you're saying he's a bad person. It's true. Like, well, his daughter was engaged to David Egan, and then they got into a car accident. She dies in the car accident, and then now I wonder the next year he kills David Egan in revenge
Mhm.
for his daughter's death. So, but then, well, the sequel then takes it up a whole different notch, and you find out he's like this whole other. He's had it in him
Yeah,
all along.
there's even more backstory. Like it goes before this. Like
Yeah.
this is just sort of like psychological behavior that it's almost like where's that movie? I actually would be interested in seeing a prequel to I know what
Ooh.
you did last summer. Just like the origins of Ben Willis.
Yeah.
Because there's like yeah, he's got a checkered past. I don't want to ignored the chat here,
Yeah,
but
no.
I just like Amethyst is saying it's crazy to think Julie was studying to be a lawyer because the way she acts throughout the entire move franchise does not give lawyer. No wonder she became a psych professor. It's true, yeah. I almost think that like with like Julie being a lawyer and especially like that being established, that there would be more of a pushback at the end, like whatever the final confrontation would have been through Ben, and this pertains to like what I was about to say, but it's just like Ben is kind of like he's a hypocrite.
Hmm.
And I think I can relate it to the same way like if like Sydney facing off against any of the Ghostface killers at the end of her movie, like she calls them out on the hypocrisy or like what they're doing or just like like with Roman where she's just like, do you know why you kill people? It's because you want to. It's just like nobody made you do it. So if with Julie studying to become a lawyer, I would expect her to be a lot quicker with just like and able to defend her point or anything like in terms of like why are you doing this to me, like you're just a shitty, rather than her just like running around screaming and like
Hmm.
not being productive at all. But like with that's exactly what the situation is with Ben, because it's like he's a bad person who you know really just got karma handed to him, that he happened to be walking there and they hit him. And he, rather than just sort of like, he recovered from whatever the injuries were a year later.
Hmm.
And, rather than just sort of like going on with his life and just being like, I got away with murder.
Hmm.
Nobody knows, like David Egan, like washed up ashore. They thought that he killed himself. I can just sort of like go on about my business now. But instead, he is now got this whole revenge scheme against these kids who hit and run, who like crashed into him and dumped his body. Which I mean, like fair, like I'd be a little salty too, but
Hmm.
it's like d
Well, in
the
this movie, I think it's all he has left because we're not in the sequel yet, where he actually has
yeah
a son and he has like a life. Like in this movie, I took it as he was a father who loved his daughter so much, and then his daughter was, in his eyes, unjustly killed, and the whole town blamed the fiance for the death, David Egan,
hmm
and then so he just like couldn't handle it anymore. And I thought in this movie he has like nothing left. He's just a boat guy working on his boat all alone. He has nothing else going. So he's like, you know what?
yeah
I'm gonna get revenge, and I'm gonna kill this guy for killing my daughter because I love my daughter so much. And then he pushes him off a cliff, and then on the way home gets hit by a car. That's so funny, how embarrassing almost.
yeah
And then he's just like, well, I have nothing else to do but get
so it's
more
like
revenge.
so it's like this idea that it's just like his life is so empty that
Empty.
it's more like he just sort of fills it like by like kind of finding new causes to be upset about. Or
Yeah,
just
and
like
it's
new
just
thing
anger
like
and
yeah, like how is like the universe fucked me over lately and I'm gonna like go up against
like
it.
these
Yeah, I
people
can
deserve it. It's almost
yeah.
they deserve like that. Like David Egan deserved to die for killing my daughter, and then these people hit me with their car, and like they don't know that I pushed David off a cliff. So in their eyes,
Mhm.
I'm just an innocent guy. So they deserve this.
Yeah. And but like and I believe that. And my complaint about the movie, like just in terms of this, is not the fact that it doesn't make any sense, because I think it totally makes sense that Ben Willis would be that petty. But I think that the thing that weakens it is that there is no connective tissue with that. There is no like he doesn't have any sort of like emotional attachment towards these kids or like why he's doing it. It's not like they killed
Mm.
his daughter. It's just like it kind of like dilutes the causality of any of like what he's doing. It's just sort of like,
Yeah.
well, I'm gonna go out of my way and like I was inconvenienced, so I'm gonna kill them.
Yeah.
Whereas like you look at like the killers in Scream, at least like the good ones, and they have a reason for wanting to like go after
Yeah.
Sydney for the most
They have
part, or whoever it is.
a
Yeah,
much
it's
deeper reason
but
for
it's
sure.
and it's all connected. It's not sort of like kind of like it doesn't diverge from other story. It's not like you can look at like Ben Willis as a character and like his storyline is almost like, well, I was off to like kill this guy who accidentally like drunk drove and like my daughter died because of him, and I went and I killed him, and then I was like walking along the street, and then like boom, this happened. So now I'm gonna do this. So it's just like that's that, like stories like this where just like this happened and then this happened. There is no like chain of effect of like things happening. Whereas
Mm.
like, if you look at something like Scream, for instance, where it's like Maureen Prescott had an affair with Hank Loomis and uh, Debbie Salt, Miss Nancy Loomis found out about it and she divorced him or whatever, left town, abandoned her son. And that pissed off Billy. So he decided that, like, well, I'm gonna get revenge. I'm gonna murder this the woman who broke up my family. But you know what? I don't feel fulfilled enough by this. I'm gonna go a step further, and now I'm going to, murder her daughter. So it's just like there is a cause and effect to that. There is a chain which like makes it feel more connected. Whereas like this movie, it's just sort of like, and like teens are misbehaving and they're gonna get killed.
Yeah. No, I can see that for sure. And Amethyst just made a good point. Wes Craven definitely would not have directed Julie to act the way she does in the final confrontation. She does nothing but scream and hide and hinder Ray while he's fighting Ben. Do you
My
agree with that?
favorite, yeah, is when Ray's clearly got the upper hand and Julie pops out from the hatch. Ray! Ray! It's like, and then he looks over and gives Ben the opportunity to punch him off the boat, which
Mm,
I just think is hilarious. And then she screams again.
yeah.
Mhm.
It's funny because Julie is the main character, and that's what Jennifer Love Hewitt they contacted Jennifer Love Hewitt first for
Mhm.
Helen, and she chose to go with Julie instead and connected with Julie more, which is so funny because Julie is such a blah character.
Yeah.
But I love Sarah Michelle Gellar as Helen. I think that like Sarah Michelle Gellar is just such a talented actress that can bring so much nuance to everything that she does. And it's funny because she works so much and gets such little sleep, I'm sure, especially during that time, that it's amazing how she's able to bring such nuance to all of her roles.
Mhm.
And even just pouring herself that Diet Coke when she gets home. Um, and the look in her eyes, and it's like she doesn't make a whole thing about her dad ignoring her. Um, even though like that might add to why she wants to be a beauty
Yeah.
queen. Like she's not clearly comes from a home where she's ignored a little bit. Her dad's been running the store. Her sister is horrible to her, and then the attention she gets is when she's at a beauty pageant and told she's beautiful, which unfortunately her parents weren't even at the beauty pageant. So it's like, okay, I didn't even watch the daughter, and I think I
Yeah.
love the shift when you see her walk out in the beauty pageant in the beginning of the movie, just the glow that she has, as opposed to who walks out the shell of who she is, Helen, when she walks out in
Yeah.
the beauty pageant the second time, and she's like scared and she's holding the staff, and I just love it so much. It's like,
Yeah.
that's her arc. It's not a good arc. It's just it's a downfall arc, which
One
sucks.
of my favorite. Also, I'll just say that I think the reason why Jennifer Love Hewitt took Julie is because she promised her grandmother that she would never
Mm,
be killed in any sort of movie or TV show.
yeah, which
Um,
spoils every other horror movie that she ever wants to do,
the,
because then I feel
the,
like she
the,
won't
the,
die.
the, the for Helen, for Sarah Michelle Gellar, there's my favorite tiny little character moment of hers that I just like I love every time and I always remember it is when we first discovered that she didn't go to New York and she's just like been working at the Shivers department store
Hmm.
and Elsa's just like Helen doesn't have a New York number. If you want to find her, I suggest you like go 10 feet that way to women's fragrances and the camera just sort of like spins around and she's like just like fumbling and
Clink,
drops
clink,
all
clink.
the perfume bottles and it's just like pathetic. Like it's just like like to go from like where she was and then like make her seem like that.
Bumbling.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then like and then she looks up and she's just like, Julie? And it's almost
Yeah.
like just like this little glimmer of light comes back to her that like probably hasn't been there for a
Oh.
year. And it's just like I love that. Like like Sarah Michelle Gellar can take a tiny moment like that and infuse so much of a lived-in quality to it. It's just such a testament to her talent.
Amazing. I love it.
Mm.
I just love it so much, and she looks amazing. I don't know what Barry's talking about, and I love the insult. You both look like a shit run over twice.
Yeah.
I love that
You're a
insult so
prick,
much.
Barry.
And you're a prick. Um But Helen, I don't know what you're talking about. Amethyst, you'll know. Alonda says the same thing in her reaction. She was like, "Oh, I don't know who he's talking about. Helen looks amazing. I'm sorry." She's like, maybe Julie,
Yeah.
um, but Helen looked
Yeah,
incredible.
they really, yeah, they went out of their way to make sure that like Julie's hair was all stringy and
Hmm.
like she just like wasn't wearing as much makeup. And I'd like
Yeah.
messaged you because I was just like, this her like roommate is relentless. Like
Yeah.
she's just
Nasty.
like all she's like saying is this just like she's like everything is just like you're white and you're
You're
pasty and like this
you're
she
pasty
I think
pale tail.
yeah, what was her name? Was it Deb?
Oh yeah, Deb,
Yes, the
right?
Deb, the like low key racist. It's just like everything is just like you need to like get a tan on that pasty. Like everything she says, like that's her whole character. It's just like
Yes.
you're too white. You're too
Well, then it's
white.
funny because
Like
then Brandy in the next movie also wants her to get a tan. So it's like, what's with her roommates wanting her to get tan? Like,
yeah,
she has these. That's just so funny.
yeah, yeah. If you're gonna hang out with me, you gotta be darker.
Yeah.
Um, I um I made some notes. We can go through them
Ooh, I
as
love
we go
notes.
along. No, because I was like watching and I'm like anytime like something kind of like stuck out to me. The first thing like I love the opening shot.
Mm,
I mean it's not a it would be like a helicopter. Just like
yeah.
coming in to the bay and just like the music, the
Dun,
Summer
dun.
Breeze cover and like how it like seamlessly blends into the movie score and it's sort of like thump thump and
Mm-hmm.
just gets like really ominous as it starts to like circle around and then like we don't even see David Egan at first like because it's so far away and as like we kind of come in and then you eventually like make out like oh there's a person sitting up there and I just think like that whole sequence is just so
Yeah.
masterfully done and I just like the music in the movie is like it's very understated but that was like the one part that I really noticed of just sort of like that transition and I always love a
Yeah.
good like song to score transition like in Scream 2 the Everclear one after Cece's killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very seamless. No, you're absolutely
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
I love the score of this movie. I believe it was John Debney, I think his name is.
Okay.
Um, maybe, but like, oh, especially when it comes to Helen's scene, I love like the orchestra. I mean, it's so
Hmm.
beautiful. I could listen to the soundtrack, like the score anytime.
Yeah. Well, the soundtrack
Um,
is also banging as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
very 90s. I love it. Very grunge 90s. Like
Hmm.
that song, I think of like average woman in the 451, the one that's like playing in the department store, right before Elsa dies. And you got your
Okay.
shot of me.
It's
Um,
yeah, it's very like it's not as noticeable because
you
it's
can
like a
hurt me, I could hurt you. I don't even know what it's about, but yeah,
yeah. No, there's a lot of great needle drops, as they
lots of
call
good
them.
needle drops. Yeah.
And even like the sequel as well. Uh, but it was just a different time, you know.
Mm-hmm. So you,
Uh,
so yeah, you like the opening shot. Love that.
the I commented on this. Helen's complete lack of surprise at being crowned. Because it's like she doesn't even like have
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh, me? No way. Like she just like she's got like a smile. She's got her eyes like she's doing the beauty queen thing. Her name is announced. She doesn't even blink or miss a beat. She just steps forward and like
Mm-hmm.
same expression. It's just like, of course it's me. Like what
Yeah.
like it's not gonna be any of these.
No, I'm definitely gonna win this. So good. I
Yeah.
wonder what her talent was.
Well,
Because we didn't get to see the
I think
talent show.
she did a dramatic reenactment.
A dramatic
Barry,
reading,
no, behind you.
like Buffy. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's why they didn't believe her a year later. They're like, God, she's doing the same thing she did last year.
I one thing I
Um,
did notice is that the look of disappointment on the woman singing Fame when Helen
mm,
because it's just like you're really gonna
she's
let her
interrupt
interrupt
me.
me. There was also like
Yeah.
in the first scene of the beauty pageant, like when she's being crowned, or like because they all have to go up and say like what they're how they're gonna make the world a better place.
Hmm.
I love how like she just seamlessly like takes the microphone from the MC,
Yeah.
and he's kind of like, and I love little like character detail like this where they just have like side characters, and he's just like. She wasn't supposed to do that. And he's just looking
Yeah.
like very confused, like she's going off book.
Well, Bob. I love
Yeah.
that so much. And like I think the microphone doesn't it even make that classic microphone sound that like
Probably. Yeah.
um I
Yeah.
love that so much. Well, Bob,
Um,
at
yeah.
summer's end.
This is more of a complaint, and I already kind of touched upon it earlier, but the streets are conveniently empty whenever the script suits it. So like when Barry is like at the gym and he like runs out and the fisherman is like driving off with his car and it's just like where is everyone? Like it's summertime. We've
That's
seen
true.
that there's like it's not even that late. Like the sun was setting when he got there. So it's not like this is like 1 or 2 in the morning. But it's just like people just disappear. It's like Scream 7 on a curfew all of a
Yes.
sudden where it's just
The whole
like
town is empty. Uh-huh.
yeah, and it's like there's all this commotion, like he's being like run through this, I don't know what it was, like a warehouse or what, there was just like
A shed.
broken wood
Yeah.
and stuff like everywhere. He's screaming for help. Like I just like that bugs me. Like that's the thing that like Wes Craven would have like not stood for. He'd been like, well, we have to get this, like move this somewhere
Mm,
else.
I
Or like somewhere
agree.
where there wouldn't be like a commotion because then like how do we account for this? How do we explain this? Um at least like in Scream 2, like with the whole like car thing with like the police, we already know there's a curfew and like the town, like wherever like around the college is gonna be quiet and all that. And that's probably like the one part that's like the logic is the flimsiest. But even then, like to show this small fishing community and to have like a ridiculously loud event occur and like for no one to kind of like be there and not even just like the streets are completely empty and then of course like how that bleeds over into the scene where Helen is being chased because she's running through town like we see the streets and I don't know if like Ben put up that detour sign to get
Yes.
them to like lure them into the alley or it was just closed because of the parade but it's like if there's a parade that's about to start in like 5 minutes. Where is everybody?
And also, how
And
many parades do they have in one day?
yeah, like they're just parading left, right, and center.
We have
But
an
like,
afternoon parade. We also have an evening parade tonight. So come on back for that
but
one.
it's just like this parade just starts. It just like everyone was just waiting off to the side there. And it's just like, wait, now let's go. And it's like it takes you out of it because it just like it
It did not take
feels
me out of it. But I'm sorry it took you out of it. But
it
I
did,
do
yeah.
love the way that he worked it into her death and everything like that. But and I assumed that the streets were empty during her chase scene because of the parade. I assumed everyone was like in that part of town. Like maybe that like maybe where like she was running for her life and everything was like just a shopping center,
Mm,
like so no one would be there. Like
mm.
but I do agree with you with the Barry part. That part I think is a little strange. Like I mean, clearly the guy is working at the gym. He would have at least heard the huge crash. It's like a
Yeah.
one building over. So
Oh, that
like,
guy didn't give a shit about anything. He's
oh
like,
yeah, he couldn't have
only
killed
you and
us.
me, pal. Yeah.
Which wasn't true because the killer must have come in and out. So he must have just not been paying attention.
Probably. Unless he like had like a different access point, but I could see that guy
Yeah,
just not
literally not paying
like
attention. Not
he's
a
got his
camera in
magazine.
sight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm let's see here. The the whole scene with Missy, well, like the first one. Um first of all, that house, I've mentioned this before, is the same house from The Conjuring. And
No
like
way.
the poster for The Conjuring, like that's the back of the house with like the tree there, but it's like it's the same location that they used. They filmed it. Obviously, this
Is
came out
was it
first.
California?
No, it's like isn't this North Carolina?
But yeah, but I know that they shot like the beach, for example, that was in
Mm.
California.
Oh,
Because
really?
they yeah, like
Yeah,
and like the whole shore, that whole beautiful opening shot was all California.
yeah. Amethyst is saying Julie is such a jerk when she drives away while Missy is still talking to her and hanging on the car window. That's my note. I said Julie is such an asshole to Missy, but it's like what's funny is that when they leave the house, like Missy's kind of like, well, come by and visit anytime. I don't get much guests around here. So it's like
Mm.
clearly like she probably was like she liked them or just like, oh yeah, like you should be my friend, which is just weird. But the next time when Julie comes by, she has like a different tune. She's just like, what are you doing here? And
Mhm.
I think that that's probably because she like like, hey, banging on the window for the jump scare to
Yeah.
return the cigarettes. But then it's just like, oh, that bitch lied to me. And then she started to drive the car away while I was like literally in the window. So I
Yeah.
think like Missy was probably like, well, I don't want to be her friend now.
Well, yeah, because she was probably like, "You got that car started, didn't you?" And then Julie was like, "Yeah, that's the darndest thing. It just started right up." And then she just peels away. Like, so
Yeah.
yeah, she definitely was like,
Funny how
"Okay,
that
so
happens.
what was
Yeah.
this girl really doing here? Like, what was this all
Yeah.
about?" She's crying in the car, like so she probably
Yeah.
could sense something weird was going on.
Um, but I loved like this the second scene when she goes back and she's like, chopping up fish guts. And she's just like touching every like door handles. Here's the suicide note. I'm just gonna get like fish guts all over it. She's wiping her face. She's wiping her
Uh-huh.
clothes.
So dirty.
And it's just like Julie's just like, could you look at my yearbook? And it would have been funny if she's just like opened the yearbook and like just started smearing fish guts all over
Yeah,
it.
getting nasty crap all over it.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, and I
And
was like, who's all that food for? Does she sell it to the town, you think? Like,
maybe.
it can't be all for her. Like, who's all
Yeah.
that fish for?
Um, Amethyst and Prager are also pointing out in the chat that Missy says, "Get out of my house," which always reminds me of, well, I guess like this came first, but Kirby, R.I.P. Hayden Panettiere, but in
Oh
Scream
yeah,
4, it's just
get out of
like,
my
"Get
house,
out
Trevor.
of my house." But there's just something, every time I've heard that line in like either movie, it's just so funny because like here, what's ridiculous about it is like, we're not in your house.
Yeah.
So it's just like,
Well, originally it was
yeah.
written to be inside. But Jim Gillespie liked how it looked outside. He liked
And we're not gonna
creepiness.
adapt the dialogue at all. You're just gonna be
Yeah,
like, get
let's
out of
just
my
leave the
house.
script.
Yeah.
Kevin is really specific about the
Get
script,
off
so
my yard.
right. Get out of my house.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Um,
it's so good.
I I think she's really funny. I mean, I liked her interview when she was talking about the filming the movie and how much fun she had. But I
And
mean, yeah, I don't know why she would want to be friends with them anyway, because they are 19. They act mature for their age, but they are like
yeah.
19 years old. They just graduated high school. So like, why do you want to be
Yeah.
friends with them? You're like 27, lady.
I love when she's
Uh,
just sort of like she's just like swaying around. I don't know like her body language. And she has this thing, she's
mhm.
not like quite rolling her eyes, but just like whatever. But it's just like everything she's saying, like she's clearly interested, or maybe she's just like faking like the niceties of just like, I guess I have to engage with them. But it's like we step into a completely different movie when we suddenly come to this house.
Well, yeah, we leave the beach town completely, and now we're in the
Mhm.
woods. It's like a whole different
Yeah,
feeling.
yeah. Um, this is something that I noticed that like was probably a Sarah Michelle Gellar thing, but her bedroom had there's a pair of ice skates that are hanging
Mm,
on the wall, which just made me think of Buffy because like Sarah Michelle Gellar like was a like she did figure skate when
hmm
she was younger, and they had implemented that into like the set dressing of Buffy's bedroom on the show. And then
hmm
there was the one episode because like Angel sees them and he's like, "Oh, you ice skate," and she's like, "Yeah." And then there's the whole scene where they go to the ice rink where she's
hmm
attacked by those
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
those
By
goons.
isn't that Kendra's episode?
That's the one where Kendra first comes in, and then she
Yeah.
sees Buffy kissing Angel, and he's in vampire
Mhm.
face, and she
That's
thinks
right.
that Buffy's part of the bad guys because of that. But yeah, it's just like just seeing like the ice skates and like, oh yeah, Sarah Michelle Gellar just like putting her history all over the
A little
roles
bit
that
of
she
everything.
plays. Yeah,
Um, yeah, and she goes straight to bed in that scene. That's so funny. Doesn't like have to pee, doesn't wash her face, doesn't wash off her
brush her
makeup, doesn't anything.
teeth.
Yeah, brush her teeth,
Well,
anything. Just goes right to bed.
she brushed her teeth with like that sip of Diet Coke.
Yeah, that she wasted, and
The
that,
whole
that would piss
can,
me off.
yeah.
That would piss me off the most. I'm surprised her dad wasn't like, "Fuck, Helen! Like you just waste this Diet Coke. Like we're
Well,
clearly
no
not
wonder the
rich."
parents hate her.
I know, right? Just like
Yeah.
leaving shit all over the
I
place.
feel like the story there is like the parents are probably like if they've put Elsa in charge of running the store, maybe like the dad's on disability or something. So it's just like, okay,
Mm.
well, we've got to,
He's got a
he
bad
can't do
back.
anything. Yeah, something like
Yeah,
that. So, it's like money's tight. We can't waste Diet Cokes here in the
true.
Shivers household.
Um,
Mhm.
I always thought that like that's one of the things I thought was silly is like the killer. takes a big risk just walking into her house. What if she had like a house full of people? Like, what if she had like a mom home? Like, what if she had like kids running around? Like, the killer's just taking a big swing, walking into the front door with
Yeah.
his full slicker, like a like a full slicker.
Hmm.
But I love that scene. I love like because I know that's what I was saying before is that um, Jennifer Love Hewitt wanted to play Julie, the lead, but Helen is such a better character. She gets like the better scenes completely. Like, gets to be in a
Yeah.
pageant, and then she gets to have this like really cool scene where you think she's gonna die, and she comes home, and the killer follows her home and follows her up the stairs,
Yeah.
or actually goes up the stairs before her. I love how the whole thing that like had me on such the edge of my seat when I was younger watching it,
Hmm.
and
It's a great shot of her kind of like just narrowly
yeah,
missing him as the slicker goes
yes.
around the corner.
Very cool shot. And then
Hmm.
like the fact that he is just so petty and cuts off her hair. Like he just overheard the conversation that Elsa and her had about like her hair. Very brief. What was he gonna do otherwise? I wonder if he was in the closet like, what should I do? Like what's something
It
scary that I
it
can do that's
feels
spooky?
yeah, it
And
feels
then
like
he overheard that.
a lot of like what he does is based on like overhearing. It's just like he knows all of their names because they've just been like arguing and saying their names back and forth while they're trying to figure out what to do with the body. Barry says uh something like we'll just say it's like a guy with a hook or whatever. So that's like where he gets the idea. But at the same time I feel like that's just happenstance because like he goes to kill Max and like the hook just happens to be there. He
Yeah.
uses it.
Yeah. He didn't
But I
have a
also
weapon
wonder
until
if
then.
yeah, like I also wonder if like he overheard the conversation with Elsa and so was like, yeah, I'm gonna cut her hair. But also if I run into that Elsa bitch, I'm gonna kill her too because she's nasty.
Yeah,
And
just gross.
that's the
Slit her
thing. It's just
throat.
like, and why like Ben? Because it's like, yeah, sure. There's like killing the four of them because they did this, but he's like just killing random Samaritans because he kills Max, he kills
Mhm.
Elsa, he kills the cop. I don't remember if there was
Well,
anyone else.
well, he had to kill the cop to get to Helen, and then he had to kill Elsa
Oh, or he could have just waited
to
until the cop
narrow it down.
brought brought Helen home and then went and killed her
True.
there.
True. He
Um,
didn't have to do the whole like in the middle, like hoping that they go down that alley, like
yeah.
hoping that the cop takes her home and hopes that the cop takes that specific route and takes that alley. Um,
That's
that's
the,
always kind of
but
funny.
that was like a carryover to the new one that I also thought was like ridiculous because like the whole scheme for that movie or like the revenge plot is because of like the boyfriend, fiance, whatever was killed. But then like everyone who was being murdered, like the guy who worked at the cemetery is like
Mm,
so you're okay with like killing people like like all the people who are you're like avenging the death of your fiance but you're gonna go and like kill these random people like that's where it
yeah.
like doesn't track for me where it's just like if you have like morals or whatever, like whatever it is or whatever you're like I want to at least know like the killer's value system and I
Yeah.
feel like
Well, I don't know
Ben
why he killed Max, but I could see why he would kill the other two. But I don't know
yeah
why he would kill Max because but at the same time, it's really just another situation where Kevin Williamson's script didn't have enough death in it, I think. Where like in Scream,
yeah
they had to go back and rewrite Himbree's death into it. In this script, they had to go back and add Max's death into it because they're
yeah
both situations are like, God, it's just too long without any death, Kevin.
it's interesting because like you look at movies like that where it's like you have like the studio just being like you need to get more in there like there's just like a long stretch where nobody is killed and then you look at the movies from the 80s like all the Friday the 13th where like the entire premise of the movie is just like one kill after the other
Yeah.
and the studios are just wanting to cut it down and like take all like censor them completely so it's just funny how I think that maybe that's an effect of like coming into the 90s where maybe filmmakers and writers were more cognizant like they were afraid to like put too much in there so then the
Mm.
studios had to be like well no we want more now we've changed our minds
Yeah, we need
so
to remind people that this is
yeah
a horror movie.
the thing
Um,
with Max is that there's two scenes that they went back and reshot. So the most famously is the ending because I guess like originally just ended and like her roommate brought like a note. It said I still know or whatever, and then it like ended. So they decided like no, we have to have something punchier that like is more of a cliffhanger and like did the whole
which is
shower
great.
thing.
Love it.
Oh, I hate it. I hate like
Really? I
any of
love
like
it.
I hate the ending to both this one and the second one. And then I don't even remember what the new one was, but it's just It's like,
It
okay,
always
clearly
gets
like
people
a
though. It
nightmare
always scares
sequence.
everybody. I
I
love
think
it.
they wanted to do more of like the Carrie or Friday the 13th
Mm.
jump scare ending. But the other one was Max's kill, which I don't remember what it was originally. I think it might have just been like he's like, "Oh, it's you" or something, and then like there was no actual blood or
Did we
kill or
even
anything.
like I wonder if there was even a kill at all. I wonder if she just finds his dead body in the trunk and we
And
don't know how
that's
he died.
and that's the thing, because like when they reshot it, he's like hooked under the chin, but
Yeah.
then when she finds the body in the car, there is no wound under there, so it's because they
That's
like,
so bad. I know.
yeah,
Such a letdown. And
what,
that's one thing that people never notice when I watch their reactions to the movie. They'll be like, "Oh my God, that was Max in the car." And I'm like, "Huh, they didn't even notice that he didn't have
yeah.
a hole in his neck." But
But this is another one, and like very similar to like the idea of that like people are just clearing out of the town streets when they need it. Ben took Max's body out of Julie's trunk and all
hmm
took all the crabs out, cleaned everything up,
yep, every crab leg,
and
every single little
every
thing.
single one. And like her car is in the middle of a residential neighborhood. Like it's broad daylight. It's the middle of
Yeah.
the day. Her car's there. There are houses all around. So she got out of her car. She just left it, ran off. And you're telling me that nobody, and there were cars like coming by because like, she almost got hit because they were like honking at her. So you're telling me that like Ben comes back there and takes this body out in full view of the world and all the
hmm
crabs, and he's just cleaning it out and all that, not even knowing when she's gonna come back. And
Yeah, right.
nobody
He's
saw that.
hoping that no one
Yeah,
sees this. Like I picture him with his pickup truck, the one that he like parked in the alleyway.
yeah,
I picture like that, and he like drives up like, as soon as she runs away. He's like, okay, great. Zoom. He drives up to like the car. He's like,
yeah,
okay, I have to open her trunk again, which I don't know how I'm gonna get it open this time. But because I'm guessing the first time was while she was sleeping, he took her car keys and like opened the trunk and
maybe.
put the body in. But the second time, how do you get back into it? And then
Yeah.
yeah, how do you like clean it out? So cars are driving by, like beep beep. He's like waving and just
I mean,
cleaning
I
out
think
my trunk.
the solution would have just been to like have her pull over in like a secluded wooded area when that happened. And
You see him with a vacuum, like with one of the like
yeah.
vacuums with.
Well, I mean, like if you
Um,
think about like everything that he was doing that day, because like he was taking photos at the parade. There was like images in
Getting
his
them
boat.
developed.
Yeah, it's like so he's going getting film developed and like making sure that it's all set up so he can have this like discoverable murder board for her to stumble upon at the end. It's just like,
I wish that
okay,
murder they should have been smarter about that. That might have been something that Wes would do differently too, is that I wish the murder board of photos was not from the same day. I wish they were photos of like Helen working at the department store,
yeah,
photos of Julie at college, maybe Ray working on the boat and
yeah.
Barry,
There
whatever
were
Barry
a
does.
few photos of like from other instances. It wasn't just that, but like they did have the parade one, which
I feel
and
like a
and
majority of
correct
the ones that stood out to me the most were like of that day. Like,
correct me if I'm wrong, but is that the same photo that Julie has in her bedroom in the sequel that she looks at
oh, the picture of Helen.
on the seashell? Yeah.
I don't
Because
think it is, but now that you're saying it, I'm like
I'm gonna
making
have
it
to
in
go
my
back and
mind.
check. Because I mean,
Yeah.
it's already kind of weird that Julie would have like a photo of Helen to like remember her by, that is like a photo taken on the day that she's killed
Yeah.
in a moment of her like in this parade where she's like completely anxious and stressed out because there's someone stalking her and is like cut off her hair, that would be the photo that Julie would use to like commemorate her, or
Yeah.
just like to remember her by. But to add like another layer to that, it's like this was the same photo that was taken and developed by the person who killed her. Which is
She
just
actually
like, which
stole
makes
it from
it
the
funny because
boat.
it's like this is essentially like a stalker picture of your friend.
I love this photo that a killer took of her a
Yeah.
year ago. It was
But yeah,
really
no,
cool.
Wes would not, like he would be like, come on, guys. Like she's whoever did like the set dressing or art direction for this movie, like he would have been like, use a little bit more common sense. Come on.
Yeah. Because
Um,
it's he can't be doing that much in one day. And then even like as far as like he kills Helen in the alleyway, has to transport her, and then also he's like, shit, wait, I have to like what about like I don't know, I guess Barry's body would already be on the boat. Okay, and then Helen's
Yeah.
and Elsa's body he just left in the store. Okay, all right. But I'm like
Yeah.
even him transporting Helen's body there and like all these things he has to do to make sure that he gets it done on time. But we also don't know, we don't have any really sense of time during the day. We don't know when things are happening
Yeah.
throughout the day because we just know the sun goes down at one point. But
Yeah. I don't know.
um
Kyle, yes, Kyle. Maybe he laid down a tarp before he put Max's body down, and then he was just able to wrap him up and the crabs up real quick and rush away.
yeah.
LOL. Either way, ridic.
um
Uh,
yeah, and
yeah.
then oh,
Go ahead.
the killer under the plastic when Helen has her chasing. I love Helen's chasing so much, but it
Hmm.
is kind of funny that when she comes down the stairs, the music shuts off, the lights shut off, and all the while the killer's under the plastic right there. So,
Maybe they're like, what's his face? The son was actually there the whole time and just like working as an accomplice. So we
yeah,
had what was his name?
he was in training. Oh, Will
Bill
Benson?
Benson.
Will
Yeah.
Benson?
Ben's son is there, like he's just hiding in the back, and like the dad's like, all right, I'm gonna go under this thing, and you're gonna turn off the music and the lights. You have to do it at the right time. And also make sure to pick up those photos. They should be ready by now.
But he's also like, but don't help me. If she attacks me, if she tackles me or whatever, if she gets away, like, don't help me.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Um,
but wait, is his name Will Willis then? If it was Will Benson,
No,
is it?
I don't think it's Will. I think it's just like
Oh, okay. Because then would it be
I think he had
William Willis?
a complete like fake name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I also had a note here about Barry shoving people out of the way at the parade when he thinks he's chasing the fisherman. And, like it's that whole moment was so unhinged because it's like there's a direct path that he can walk through, but it's almost like he's like purposefully like running into people. He's just like pushing a guy. And I think like correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like did he push the guy off the dock into the water? Because it's like there is no like we don't see him fall in or a splash, but when we get the reverse shot, he's like
oh
on the
yeah.
dock. So it's just like, did he just push that guy into the water?
Bro.
Yeah, and then of course this terrified old man, which I don't even know why he's dressed in the middle of summer in this
Yeah.
like black leather slicker or rubber.
Right. When do you even wear
But
that
yeah,
slicker? When you're out on the boat in a storm?
yeah,
Like,
yeah, and I love
it's
how
not
like
even like normal to see someone
everyone
wearing that
had
in
one.
July. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I guess like
But
Missy had one. I don't know if they
Missy had
showed
one in her
any. Yeah.
house. Yeah.
I love that moment too where she turns around and like steps into
And
it.
then everyone said, hey, I'm going to the parade today. And you know what would be better than this 102-degree heat in July? I think I'm gonna wear some like thick leather
Yeah.
and a hat.
The Yeah, because in urban legend they do that a lot. Like every character has that same parka.
Yes, because it was supposed to be
And
shot. But that makes sense though, because it was
yeah.
supposed to be shot in the winter, and they
Hmm.
just last minute decided not to. So they're like, let's just
Yeah.
keep the costumes the same. But like this movie, it's like no, it was summer all the time.
Yeah.
So
But I just love like Barry's like entitlement of just like get out of my way. I'm just gonna
always, yeah,
like just violently push people and like face no repercussions.
yeah. Barry has no arc.
I
He
mean I don't agree with that, but go on.
Well, what is his arc? I was gonna say because he doesn't. I mean, he's the most he does is smile at Helen. That's like the nicest thing he does this entire movie is smile at Helen at the end on the parade, and then hug her and tell her that everything's gonna be
I think that
okay.
like maybe he doesn't have an arc individually, but I think that like their relationship has an arc, and like that's the one
Mm,
thing that I really do appreciate because like they're I much prefer them than the other couple.
of course.
So like seeing that like this whole event has kind of like rekindled some sort of um spark between them, whatever
Yeah,
it be. Like I love the shot where we're in the theater hall and we sort of like see through the curtain
which
or
how do
like
they
the
do that? That
backdrop
was so
thing.
cool. I
Yeah,
love that they did
and we're
that.
just sort of like they're embracing and even though like he's just like been an awful person, I still kind of like feel like, okay, well, he might be awful, but he's a real person, and I can
And he's
kind of get the sense of
protective.
him because
Mm.
yeah, like he cares about her, she cares about him. These are things that these people want and desire in their lives, so it's just like I actually feel something. Whereas like Julie and Ray, it's just sort of like, she's just all mopey and miserable for reasons, and it's just like we don't really ever get to the bottom of like, okay, wow, you ran over this person. And I guess like what they're trying to portray is like that everyone processes trauma in their own way,
Yeah.
but like with them, it's just like I don't really know like what is motivating them. Like Ray just seems to be happy being a fisherman,
Hmm.
and clearly he's trying to like get back with her. She's just like, yeah, school's going well. Like what like what who is this character beyond just that, but beyond like
Well,
having poor grades.
yeah, she was like I always saw her as like a happy-go-lucky girl that was like so sweet, lost her dad unfortunately, and then um yeah, this accident just completely ruined her whole life and made her stop curling her hair and letting it be limp and flat.
Yeah. Like the opposite of what Helen told her to do.
Yeah, right. No, literally. Yeah, it's completely the opposite. And then she gets a whole different career path.
Yeah.
But she probably failed out of school.
Amethyst is saying, or quoting, "Nobody gets me the way you do, Julie. I understand your pain," which I think is hysterical because she says to him earlier, like more ironically, like when they're making love on the beach,
Hmm.
making love, because it's not
Making
sex, it
love.
was
Yeah.
tender.
Yes.
Uh, she's like jokingly says like, "I understand your pain," and I just think it's hilarious that she would then like repeat that same line, but like in a different context later on. It's like this movie is so unserious.
It's so
I
true. Oh my God.
understand your
Yeah.
pain. I don't like that's the thing. It's just like these two characters, they haven't learned their lesson by the end of the movie. They've like gotten away with this whole like these shenanigans. And rather than like, report what happened or say anything, they
I
just like continue to
know.
like double down on this lie.
They should have like
Yeah.
fulfilled their like arc, which would have been like telling the truth and coming clean at the end.
Yeah.
But nope, for no reason they decide not to. It's just
Hmm.
easier. They just want to get home, actually. They're just tired. They want to get home. Like,
Exactly.
no.
Yeah.
Is there any reason why this guy would want you two dead? I love how you
Yeah.
asked that. Like, any reason why he wants you two dead?
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, no. Um, I love the costumes in this movie. Simple but so distinct. Her green dress,
The
Helen's green
heels.
dress is
Yeah.
like so amazing. Yep, runs in heels. And I love in the audio commentary because I haven't watched it in years, but I the last time I did watch it, Jim Gillespie even like mentions that. He's like, Sarah had to run these very, very high heels and yeah, in his
She
like
did it. Yeah.
Scottish accent, and she did. She was amazing.
Hmm.
Trying to think of what other questions I have for you. Let's see if I have any more questions.
One other thing I'll just notice with like the
Oh yeah.
the the scene at the end because Ray swings, he's somehow managed to get back on the boat and he swings the thingy at Ben, knocks him out.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that like Julie's just sort of like because she's just like confused. She's still like in this thing. It's like she's not even making an attempt to save herself at this point. And Ray comes up and she screams because it's just like, oh my God, a shadow. But he helps her out, and then there's just standing there, and like Ray takes the time to like turn around and close the hatch because I
Mm-hmm.
don't like we have to follow boat protocol. It's not my boat, but whatever. Meanwhile, like nobody's looking at the like supposedly unconscious killer. So I don't know. I feel like in a way, like Scream did afford Wes Craven the ability to like even if characters do something stupid, they could at least be self-aware about it, which is
Mm-hmm.
almost like a pass. But like even then, like you'd have like Randy at the end of like Scream just be like, careful, this is the moment where the presumably dead killer comes back to life for one last scare or something like that. But it's just
Mm-hmm.
like I guess there's something about this movie that I appreciate that it is a much more earnest representation of a scenario like this where people aren't like, oh, it's like one of those like how they are in Jeepers Creepers where they're just like, I've seen enough horror movies to know blah blah blah. But even though actually they do say that when they're going to Missy's house, but like in this scenario, like that's the thing. It's just like the characters acting stupid when they shouldn't be
Mm-hmm.
acting stupid. And I think that that's
Yeah.
way like I would rather have like the self-aware commentary than stupid characters.
Yeah. Well, I agree with what you've said in the past. Like after Helen's death scene, like the rest of the movie kind of goes down for me
Oh,
because
I know.
yeah, like Julie's chase isn't nearly as exciting as Helen's. Yeah, but yeah, but I still I don't know, it'll always have a place in my heart. I love it so much. And just that it is different because of its location and its vibe. And like this movie has the way of using its score and everything that like even like a lot of the movie takes place during the daytime and like but a lot of it has this like emptiness feeling to it, this like hopelessness. That's what I love is the theme of this movie um really comes from a feeling of guilt and shame, which leads to fear like, and also affects like
Mhm.
their fear. And it's because they've chosen to do something wrong. It's a decision that they've made. It was the wrong decision, but now it's like they feel such guilt and shame that they can't go to the police. They can't tell their parents. They can't whatever because they feel like they've done something so wrong. And that is such a scary place to be in because then you really feel trapped. And I think that that's so great as opposed to other horror movies where it's the killer is coming after them for whatever other reason or
Mhm.
um like Sydney was literally attacked because of what her mom did, like
Yeah.
nothing that she did. So I think it's just amazing. No, these kids did it themselves. They made the decision and now they're actually having to deal with the consequences of their own actions. And I
Yeah.
think that that is very cool.
No, I agree with you absolutely. And I think that there was more that they could have done with that. Like for instance, like you're talking about the characters' arcs of, coming to the end there and like are they going to like this random person, this random police officer just being like, any reason why they would do that? Like just for them to
Yeah.
to not cop to it at that point. So, if the movie really was leaning into like the themes of guilt, I think that there would have been more to it rather than just sort of like the way that Julie kind of like or guilt is represented with her is just to be, like disheveled and moody and whatnot and occasionally be like we did this to this person. Like she's just sort of like announcing it out loud, but like we're not really seeing like, well, what are you going to do about it? Like you could go for it. You could break away from the pact and do whatever you
Hmm.
have to do. And
Yeah.
actually, like that might have been more fun. It's just to like have like more conflict internally within the group and like just like have more of Barry, like get push her up on the car and like with his hand around her neck.
Yeah, their boyfriend
Yeah.
right there who does nothing.
It's
Uh,
so like I was thinking of Scary Movie. It was just like, come on,
because
come on, come on.
it's yeah,
Yeah, Bobby.
come on,
Yeah,
man, you're
yeah,
hurting her.
yeah,
Come
yeah,
on, man.
yeah.
It's so true. That's literally, and I'm like, no wonder why she broke up with him. I'd be this, and she actually gives him a look when
I love that look.
I love that look when she's like,
Yeah,
oh, it's almost like gross, like I almost hear the word like pussy, like
yeah.
I don't know, coming out of her mouth.
I can't believe I made love to you.
Yeah, we just like I have like sand in my ass because of you.
Yeah.
Um, but
Um,
yeah.
no, I think that ultimately, like, if they just gave the script another pass, maybe it would have
Yeah, it
it,
was
it
a
would have been
rushed
even
movie.
better. Yeah.
In all fairness, it was very rushed. They started filming this in the summer and they wanted it out by Halloween.
Hmm.
Um, and I mean, who knows? Jim Gillespie, I actually don't know a lot of his other work, so I don't really know if they had more time, if he would have fixed some of those little issues, or if those were just issues that he was going to have no matter what, and
Yeah.
just overlook them. But I think for a '90s horror movie, especially when you're at that age, maybe it's a little bit of nostalgia.
Mhm.
But I just think it's such a fun, different movie that really did give me the creeps growing up, and gave me the
Yeah.
sense of like the sense of fear when I was like outside and it was like an afternoon in the summer and it was kind of sun's going down and it's that quiet vibe that I thought of this movie a lot.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think it's just like you remember the movie. I mean, like they made a legacy sequel
Yeah,
to it. Like it earned its place to do that. It's just too bad that,
it sucked.
that movie turned out to be what it was.
Because this movie was like it's goofy and it has some like things wrong with it, but it takes itself seriously, which I appreciate. Whereas the newest one, I feel like didn't take itself seriously
Oh God.
at all. Like
Well,
it was in on its own like this is stupid and like this is all dumb, so let's all just like have fun with it. Whereas like the original, like maybe you saw it as kind of like it had some things wrong with it and it was like silly at times, but it took itself seriously and I believe
yeah.
them. I believe the characters. I believe the world that they're in.
I can't remember another movie, at least like in recent memory, that is as big a disaster as the new I Know What You Did Last Summer is.
Yeah.
it's
As
just
big as
like
a what the fuck?
it
Yeah.
just feels like there's just like everything went wrong with that, and I don't like it started with the script because I don't know, like I'm still waiting for the script to drop online and just like find that and like read it and like what was it before everything just sort of like got twisted around and like whatever, like Jennifer Love Hewitt wasn't available for this or that, like what
Yeah.
did they originally planned, uh but did you were mentioning before like the one because this was released in October, you're saying before Halloween. You're
Hmm.
like the only good thing that the new I Know What You Did Last Summer did was come out in July
In the summer.
because
Yeah. Like,
every movie in this franchise has come out in fall.
yeah, which doesn't make
Yeah.
any sense to me. Like, this doesn't feel like a Halloween movie at all. Like a holiday. I mean, yeah, Halloween movie at all. It feels very summer
Yeah.
to me.
Which is the irony is that Halloween H2O came out in the summer, whereas I mean I know that I Know What You Did Last Summer is not Dimension, so they couldn't have like
Mm.
switched their release calendar. But it's just like you'd think that like the Halloween movie would have come out in October and the I Know What You Did Last Summer movie would have come out in summer.
Actually, well, that I agree. But I get out of these eight movies, if you, I don't know if we can do this, but let's try. Out of like Scream, Scream 2, Scream 3, so that's three movies right there. I Know You Did
Okay.
Last Summer, four. Valentine, Urban Legend 2, and H2O. Because I feel like they all kind of came out around the same time.
Yeah. Is I Still Know What You Did Last Summer in
I
that?
didn't put that in there, but I guess we could. But I was gonna say, where would you put I Know You Did Last Summer in that list of things? If we can do it kind of quickly, because I know like Scream would be at the top. Oh, Scream
Don't
2.
rush me.
I know, like,
I have to write them out here. Okay, so we got Scream,
mm-hmm. Scream 2 and
Scream
3.
2. Well, Scream 2 would go before Scream for me.
Yeah.
And then I would say Scream 3,
Mm-hmm.
Urban Legend,
Okay.
maybe. Yeah. Valentine,
Mm-hmm.
probably H2O.
Mm-hmm.
Or actually, wait. Yeah, H2O. I Still Know What You Did. Uh, I Know What You Did. And you said Urban
Urban
Legend
Legend 2.
2,
Because I
probably
know you like that
Urban.
one, right? I know you like director's cut. Oh,
I
not director's cut.
Final Cut, yeah. There are things that I like about Urban Legend 2 that I probably like more than this movie, but I went overall, but like I would put it underneath, maybe.
Yeah.
I think. I don't
Fair.
know. I did a video on this. I was like ranking all of like the 90s thing. I don't know where it or no, what I did is I ranked the Scream
Slashes.
franchise, the I Know What You Did Last Summer franchise, and the Urban Legend franchise. So I don't remember
Mm.
where everything fell, but that's what would your ranking be?
Oh, I guess I would do I Knew You Did Last Summer first, and then Scream 2, Scream 1, Urban Legend, Scream 3, Valentine, Urban Legend 2. Oh no, H2O, and then Urban Legend 2.
Okay. H2O
Yeah.
has a like the I feel like I Know What You Did Last Summer and H2O are kind of like in a similar category for me of movies that I have a lot of nostalgia for, but I don't like necessarily love them as much when I watch them today. Like H2O, that was a really hard one for me to keep going back and revisiting because I just like I loved it so much when it first came
Yeah.
out. I just like I saw it twice in the theater. It was such a big deal. And then like revisiting it like, like I probably within like the last 10 or 15 years and just like every time just feeling like less and less enthusiastic about it. But there's so much that I love with it. Like Jamie Lee Curtis and Josh Hartnett, I think make that movie. Um, but yeah, I start to notice the cracks and just like, oh, I'm disappointed. Which is why like it like whenever like, people who love Scream 5 and 6 will like see someone's ranking where they have Scream 5 and 6 and 7 as well, like
Hmm.
really low down. And they'll just be like, you're just nostalgic for things. And I'm like, no, that's not
No.
nostalgia. Like I actually like I'm able to differentiate from movies from a long time ago of like what I like and what I don't like. Like that's
Yeah.
you'll be in the same boat too. You're going like people who are like experiencing horror for the first time now or in like the 2020s. There's going to be movies that you are watching right now that you absolutely love. I guarantee you in 20 years' time, when you go back and watch those movies, some of them are still going to hold up and you're like, this is great. And then there's going to
Hmm.
be other ones where you're just like, oh, that's not that good. And you're going to feel disappointed by it. I'm sorry to tell you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. And you're like, and you, it might be like you lie to yourself a little bit. You're like, oh, okay, no, this is still good. And then like you're like, oh, damn it. You have to kind of be honest with yourself. You're like, this isn't as good as I remember. And for I know you did last summer, like I definitely see all the issues with it, but it will always. I mean, maybe part of it is that nostalgia, but I don't care. Like I no, because even watching it today, I had so much fun watching it today,
Yeah.
and I think there's just some part of it that will always have my heart, and I will always love it.
And
Yeah, exactly.
I
And I'm just looking at the chat here. I like that Grant. I agree with you. You said I feel generally pretty over movies that don't take themselves too seriously, and I'm like, yeah, I kind
Mhm.
of,
Yeah.
yeah,
It feels like a cop out. It feels like like it's an excuse for filmmakers to get away with like something that doesn't work or just like, eh, whatever. We don't like you don't have to
yeah.
do this.
If it
And then
doesn't do
and
well, it's because it's because well, we didn't really like
people
care.
didn't understand like people don't understand camp, which I think is like
Yeah,
the biggest ex the cop out to that entirely. But then like I feel like that attitude has also started to like bleed off into audiences, and this is not everyone, but like you'll see online people are just being like, you're just taking it way too seriously, or just like
yeah.
the
Why
idea of
can't I take it seriously?
like logic or something like, but that's the whole thing. Like a movie is meant, and I was thinking about this today, where if a movie's doing its job properly, like you are watching something for 90 minutes, 2 hours, and you are escaping into a different reality. Like as far as you're concerned, like these are real people. This is
Yeah.
something that you're seeing, like you're experiencing that. And you shouldn't be seeing like the all the technical stuff behind it. Like you should just be seeing the movie for what it is.
Hmm.
So if there's a movie that comes out and there's like things that are happening, whether it's just like logic based or it's just not very well made, that start to take you out of it, and people have been like you just need to ease off. Like you're like you're way too demanding for things like that. It's just like no, like this is don't contribute to an attitude that is essentially going to see the downfall of cinema.
Yeah. Yeah. No, totally. All I can think about is just the whole attitude and vibe that went into the I know you did last summer 2025. Like just
Yeah.
like how it was like almost like every character was in on the joke and everyone was kind of like winking at it like and like Slay Queen, like that whole vibe was Slay Queen, and I just like I can't. I just it really pissed me off because like it literally was nothing like the tone of the first one. And I know the second one had a different tone than the first movie, but it doesn't matter. Like it still took itself seriously. And even though
Mhm.
like it went off the wall, like it went out like off the rails with some of like the Ben Willis lore, like it still took itself really seriously and it still
Yeah.
had such heart, whereas this newest one had no heart at all.
Yeah, it's just like this detached irony that like all these movies have to have because it's almost like it's a way to play it safe because it's like if
Yeah.
people don't like it or they don't understand it, it's just like, well, it's it's supposed to be light, it's supposed to be a joke sort of
Yeah.
thing. And it's just like
It's not that deep, bro. Like, don't, yeah,
yeah, like have a little bit of confidence in the story that you're telling, like just like
yeah,
let like I want to see movies that like, are different but are like
hmm,
fully 100% whatever that is with confidence.
yeah.
Even if it's like I think the best example of this in the recent years of just like a movie that is so off the rails but is so earnest about it is probably Malignant.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I love that movie. Like it's just like I understand people's criticisms about it. I like it is absolutely ridiculous, but at the same time, like it's like you'll have characters just being like, "There's something I never told you. I'm adopted," and it's like the dramatic weight of it. Whereas like in
Yeah.
anything else, it would be like, I'm adopted, and be like, oh well, let me tell a joke, or like just lighten the
Exactly.
mood with something like that. And it's just, I
Yeah,
just
I
want
told you
people
I was
to,
adopted. Remember when my
yeah.
mom blah 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 with the blah 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 like making some
Remember
joke out
we
of it.
when we went to see Fleur?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Oh, and there it is.
yeah,
Someone in the chat mentioned like when are we gonna bring up floor? But yeah, no, exactly. Like it's so true. It's like I don't know.
yeah,
Have some goddamn heart.
yeah. Is this the designated time to mention Fleur? I didn't even see
Yeah.
that. Amethyst is just like Amethyst is like the official like cherry picker AI bot. Like he's just like has it's like an algorithm. He just knows when something's coming.
Yeah.
You know.
Did you see what he just wrote? What he just wrote
I'm
about
looking
Ben
at the
Tilly?
script, and Ben Willis's name was Ben Tilly in the script. So now I'm imagining his
Yeah,
wife was Jennifer or Meg. I
exactly.
mean, do that. I mean, make that prequel. Even like cast Jennifer Tilly now
Hi,
to
Ben.
play. Yeah, and it's just like, when did this take place in the 80s? Like, I don't DH her. Just like let her be Jennifer Tilly
This
if
movie didn't
of
take place
like
in the 80s.
2026. No, but like whatever the history of like what we find out in I Still Know What You Did Last Summer.
Oh, living at the hotel and everything.
Yeah. Like that had to have been in the 80s, right?
I guess. Yeah. Definitely
Yeah.
started in the 80s. Yeah. And
Yeah.
then that's so silly. But even that, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, the lore gets so wild, but for some reason it's just they all take it so seriously. Like, Jennifer Love Hewitt says it with such conviction that like it's all real. It's not like them at the end of I Knew Did Last Summer 2025 on the boat when they're like, "Oh God," and then we learned that this happened and Ray's the killer and then this is happening. It just feels so silly and goofy.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Welp, shall we move this along?
Right along to the cherry picker? Yes, I would
Yeah,
love to.
let's get to the cherry picker.
It's not like we killed people on purpose.
All right, we need a cherry on top. I don't think that this is going to be much of a challenge, but I'll let you call it.
I just was laughing because Grant said cherry on top, Ben Willis. Imagine. I think it
Imagine
has to go
that.
to the truest of all cherries, which is Helen Shivers.
Our Croaker Queen.
Our
Yeah.
Croaker Queen. She wins
Yeah.
every pageant, every
Hmm.
competition, honestly.
Absolutely. Hmm.
So I love that. And yeah,
Unsurprisingly, she wins everything,
yeah,
but not in Elsa's eyes.
no,
Or maybe she does, and that's why she hates her so much.
exactly.
Last week, we asked you who deserves to die the most, and happy birthday to me. I nominated, oh gosh, I don't even have their names.
No.
Rudy. You nominated Dr. David Faraday. And across Patreon, Instagram, and YouTube, not a lot turned up for this one, but still a few. 50 votes for Rudy versus 125 for Dr. David Faraday.
Ah,
Congratulations, my sir.
thank you. And I was actually thinking about this the other night. You know, sometimes at like 4 o'clock in the morning, you'll think about something. Because didn't I ask if I could originally make it the dad? And you were like, no, because you don't see the dad in this movie. But I think you do see the dad in this movie.
The Anne's dad.
Yeah, Anne's
Where do you
dad.
see him?
When like the mom is like at the gate and she's like, let her into the party. And doesn't he come out and he's like in a trench coat and like a hat and like,
No, it's like the gate person.
oh, okay. So I thought that was him,
No,
but
that's their gate person.
that's just their gate person.
The gate person. The
That's
gatekeeper.
their
Yeah.
GP. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
no.
Gotcha, gotcha, got you.
Well,
But
because I'd already like given you a free pass with the Oculus episode to nominate
yeah.
the spirit
And you were
of,
like, not again.
yeah, I could make some leeway for that, but then you were like, I'm gonna nominate this character who's not even seen on screen. I'm like,
Well, I
no.
thought, well, because I thought that he was the gatekeeper, but no, he's not the gatekeeper.
If well, I mean, okay, whatever.
But hey, Doctor,
I'm the gatekeeper of
that's true. Of
the
the cherries
nominations.
that can be
Yes.
picked. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you won.
Um,
Uh
woo!
G Grant Vatten. Dr. Faraday sounds like Dr. Faraday. Just make a Wish Foundation doctor,
That's genius.
Dr. Faraday. So that was Grant, and now we have Grant Dempsey. Aha! Yet another terrible movie therapist. Yeah, I'm voting for David because his relationship with Ginny seems pretty weird to me. But Rudy's a real contender, I gotta say. That scene in the bell tower is bizarre. Why threaten Ginny? Doesn't even fit with the big playing dead prank that he follows it up with, unless he's deliberately trying to gaslight Ginny in exactly the same way Anne is. Is he happy birthday to me's Angelina slash Dorothy? I don't get the reference. Angelina Dorothy, help me out. Grant, you're in the chat. Help me with that.
I don't know.
Yeah. Like Dorothy from Valentine?
I thought of Wizard of Oz.
But who's Angelina? I'm
Angelina
so sorry.
from
I'm like
Jersey Shore.
I'm just like
Angelina.
tearing apart his response because I didn't get it. I'm sorry.
No, but then I'm sure once he explains, we will. We'll be like, oh yeah.
Okay. Okay, well, I'll read the last comment here from Silent Saturn. Dr. Faraday for being a creep and as a stand-in for every creepy guy in this movie, where everyone seems to be obsessed with Ginny. Like even her father is a bit too touchy-feely with her. Maybe that's a remnant from the script where Ginny was possessed by her mother, and that's who her dad is attracted to, kind of taking the movie in a weird direction. Barfy smiley face. Angelina was from Scream 3, Dorothy was from Valentine. Okay, thank you. Now
Secret
I get
second
it. Yeah.
killer.
The secret second killer.
I forgot about Angelina in Scream 3. That's not a popular name, and it should have been on my mind.
Jolie. Okay. Well, you got first dibs. So who's it gonna be?
I think I'm gonna go with the easy pick and just go with Ben Willis.
Hmm. Do you want to say why or
Oh,
just
well,
you don't have to. We can just say Ben Willis,
I'm gonna go
period.
with Ben Willis because he is the killer. He's petty. He clearly has like not much going on in his life. Like he's able to afford everything and still um dedicate his whole life to chasing these teens down. And just like you said, like he could have gotten away with murder. He could have like just went on with his life and been like, thank God I survived that hit and run, and being thrown into the ocean somehow. But no. So he's a bad man. He's a bad man.
Yeah. I'm gonna. I don't even remember. I think this was my nomination the first time, but I'm gonna go with Ray. What's his last
Oh,
name? Is it
uh,
Bronson? I
Ray
think
Bronson.
Ray
Yes.
Bronson. I'm gonna go with Ray Bronson for being completely and utterly useless as a boyfriend. Like just like, hey, come
Hmm.
on, man, don't do that. Don't
Yeah.
like stand up for your woman, man.
Yeah. Come on.
Um, just the whole thing, like when Max is like, he's like, "What can I do for you, Max? You can start by wiping that shading grin off of your face." He's like,
Yeah.
"Okay, I will do." He's just sucks, and knowing where he goes, because even though it's not canon for you, I don't
I
really have the
know.
same attachment to this franchise, so
Yeah.
I can
Make it
happily
canon.
accept that as canon of just like what he becomes later on. So I'm fine with that. So yeah, death to Ray.
Death to Ray.
Yeah. But
Alrighty.
anyway, those are your options. So you can head over to Patreon. Even if you're not supporting there, I make the poll available to everyone. So you can actually vote 3 times. You could go there, you could go to Instagram, follow us at the Cherry Picker Pod, and it shows up in the stories every Tuesday. And then on YouTube, you can vote here as well. Make sure you are subscribed to us. But vote your heart, vote your conscience. And Tim, where can they find you on social media?
I am on Instagram at Tim McKay Beauty or on TikTok at Timothy-McKay.
And you can find me on my main YouTube channel, Zach Cherry, ZACK space CHERRY. Did I say 3 R's? I can't.
R.
RCHERRY. I always like say space. Did you ever see that Family Guy cutaway where they're making fun of Robert Loggia. And he's like, this is worse than the time I was stuck behind Robert Loggia at the airport. And he's like, can I have your name, please? Certainly. It's Robert Loggia. And he's like, can you spell that for me? He's like, R as in Robert Loggia. And just goes through like every letter. It's just like, oh my God, it's Robert Loggia. And then gets to like after Robert, space. So I think I kind of adopted that from Robert Loggia.
Okay.
Or Family Guy's interpretation of him.
I don't even know who Robert Loggia is.
Robert Loggia is an actor. You've probably seen like a million things that he's been in, but you just like
Uh,
you like know him as like that old guy. I mean, he wasn't always old, but he did a lot of commercials too. Like he was in that. I think it was like orange juice or whatever, where like the parents are
mm.
like, "You should drink your orange juice. It's like got a lot of calcium." And just like, I don't know. And like, well, what would make you want to drink it? He's like, if Robert Loggia told me, and he like comes in and he's like, "Hey kid, you gotta drink your orange juice."
He was
No,
in
he's
Scarface.
yeah, Psycho
Mm.
2. He was in a few episodes of The Sopranos because I've just been doing the rewatch. Anyway, sorry, let's not get
Yeah.
off track here, but uh that main YouTube channel, I am on Instagram at retro bitch face. That is all one word. And then that's also my letterbox and Zach Cherry 8 for Twitter. We do not know what we're covering next week yet. As I said earlier, I come kind of fumbled the bag, but we shall announce it soon. But if you want, you can still go over. If you want to become a Patreon supporter, you can see what the options are to choose from and vote today. If you're listening to this on August 25th of
Hmm.
2026. Yeah.
Well, this was so much fun. I'm glad we got to talk about my favorite movie.
I'm
Thank
glad
you
we
so
did too.
much.
Yeah. And I mean like what a way to like celebrate 200 episodes. And we went for a while here. This was a longer than usual
Yeah.
episode. Like in the old day, when we talked about Scream, guess we would just go on forever. But
Love it, love it.
yeah, thank you to like everyone who's here with us in the live chats. Thank you to everyone who's watching, everyone who's listening, and we will be right back